From being the best car I've ever owned to being an over $40,000 nightmare. It's time we talked about my Aventador. We'll also finally do a garage update. What happened to this car, and this car, and this car, and this car? But first... Factory, the greatest way to food of all time. I know you spend too much money on DoorDash and Uber Eats. That is the Matrix keeping you poor. Ascend. It's time for you to start saving money and eating better than you ever have before. Factor delivers fresh, never frozen.
Dietitian approved meals.
Right to your doorstep. Just select the kind of meals you want. They will spawn directly at your door. Shove them forcefully into your microwave for 2 minutes, and then... I know what you're thinking. You think you'll get tired of the menu. No. Their menus are updated weekly with over 34 different chef-prepared meals, all of which come in meal plans that range between 4 and 18 meals a week. Break your Chick-fil-A and McDonald's addiction. Factor will help you avoid takeout and paying $10 for a side of guacamole from Chipotle. They're full meals that are cheaper and taste better than fast food. Head to factor75.com or click my link below and use code Jimbo50 for 50% off your first box. That's Jimbo50 for 50% off your first box. In all seriousness, folks, meal prep companies like Factor changed my life about 6 months ago. I work from home, and normally every day I would just order from DoorDash because it was easy. But you feel like crap when you eat that, and it also gets really, really expensive. But as soon as meal prep companies came in my life, that changed everything. Because it was like having restaurant quality meals available in 2 minutes. You don't need to be on some special diet or have a fitness plan or some goal you're trying to achieve. Like, just forget about that for a second. This would just save you money. Even if you just order a few for lunch or dinner, just to try out the service and see if it's for you, you like the food, it's worth it because it's cheaper than whatever you're doing right now. So check my link in the description down below, get started, save yourself some money, and eat some really good food. And thank you, Factor, for sponsoring today's video. This is my 2013 Lamborghini Aventador. I bought it back in 2021 during my Savage Garage days. Monterey blue, big window sticker car, used to be part of a rental company where this fuck sat on it, and we went on a bunch of different adventures with it. But all in all,
great success.
However, come the beginning of 2022, I had decided I wanted to sell the car. I missed my old Murcielago, and the Aventador market was still at peak stupidity. So I began to make a list of everything that was needed to get the car ready to sell. It needed some minor paint and body work after the police light bar self-ejected itself.
Yeah, so put a cop light on an Aventador?
Yes.
Without mounting it, without drilling into it?
Yeah.
And then you hit like 140?
Yeah. A new wing, or the old one, needed to be put back on, because when the light bar went flying, the first thing the light bar hit was the wing. So then it did this. My wing was like down here, like the whole time when we were driving, just right down there. A new taillight, because mine had gotten cracked from this. Some miscellaneous things, some sensors, some modules, etc. And I got right to making these things happen. However, the car had figured out what I was planning to do. So it proceeded to make everything and anything take at least 4 times as long as it should have and cost me about 4 times as much. The Aventador did not go to paint and body until September. But this is where the real nightmare began. You see, that beautiful Monterey blue color from Lamborghini can't be blended. It has to be what's called panel matched. So basically, instead of fading the new paint into the old paint, or blending it, you have to just paint the panels you need and hope it matches everything else. Oh God, here we go. We first painted only the panels we needed. They matched in some lights, but not in others. Then we painted a few more panels. Still didn't match. The car will be done by the end of next week. We painted a few more panels. Still didn't match. You need to order a new front vent because we don't know where it went. The car will be done by the end of next week. Happy Thanksgiving. While we're here, we need to fix this part of the paint, and this part, and this part, and this part. The car will be done by the end of next week. I'm going to throw myself off a fucking bridge. Is the car almost done? Yes, it'll be done by the end of next week. We've painted most of the car, but there are still a few angles that don't match. Let's paint more of the car. The car will be done by the end of next week. I'm gonna light this damn car on fire. The car will be done by the end of next week. You son of a...
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
4 months and over $17,000 later, basically the entire car had been painted. And it truly looked beautiful, better than it ever had before. But the car was not done. There were still a few things that needed to be finished mechanically, so the car went over to Lamborghini, Washington, which is located in Sterling fucking Virginia, Lamborghini, to be finished. There were 2 main things that needed to be addressed: the rear wing motor and the taillight. The new rear wing motor assembly I had bought months ago for the car wasn't working after it got installed, and the new taillight I had bought wasn't lighting up the side marker light. Upon inspection, turns out the wing motor assembly I bought was faulty. Since I had bought the thing like 4 months ago, I couldn't just get a refund. So I just had to buy another one. And as for the taillight, the one that I got sent was the European version. It still fucking worked, but it was missing one connector. At the dealership, we figured out all we had to do was swap the wiring harnesses for them. But guess what? You can't order the wiring harness. It's not available from Lamborghini. You've got to buy the entire fucking taillight. There was only one wiring harness available in the country, and I bought it.
That's a lot of damage. How about a little more?
So that second wing motor I bought, guess what? It fit, but not perfectly. It wouldn't sit flush with the body, which of course looked like trash. The part number was mislabeled in the eBay listing. It was for a slightly later model Aventador, a 2015 Roadster. Of course, the seller didn't accept refunds, and there were no other ones available in the country, so there really wasn't much I could do other than just buy a brand new one from Lamborghini. Thankfully though, a tech was able to modify it to make it work and sit correctly. Then there was just tires, an AC control module, a complete loss of my sanity, and then the car was done. Adding everything up, it came out to just a little over $43,000 to get this car roadworthy. After a lot of different phone calls, I ended up finding a buyer for the car, and it is now in its new home somewhere in Kentucky. And I never want to see it again. But after all the repairs and paying off the remaining balance on the lease, I barely broke even with the car. I think within a couple grand. So I really didn't win selling the thing. I would have if I didn't have to put all that money in. It sucked, but I'm just glad that the new owner who has it now has a car that runs and drives. But will you see another taking delivery of my supercar? The short answer is yes. But let's quickly touch on the other cars in the fleet before we go down that rabbit hole. Silver Beater S320, totaled.
No, that's a lot of damage.
Black Beater S320. The Explorer. Sadly, Blake no longer works for me. My black S600 that I was building equal length headers for. So it would sound like this. Still got it, and it's not going anywhere anytime soon. My Murcielago? Yeah, so funny thing about that, I've got a video coming on that too. My S65, still got this old boat too. And after all this time, I'm actually ready to sell it. So I'll be making a video on that in a little bit. My good little Altima. There is absolutely no point in selling this thing. It's worth like $1,500, and when every other one of my cars breaks, this one still works. And when it does break, it costs like $4 to fix. So, like, what's the point? And finally, my Corvette. I know. For those who don't know, back in like 2016, I think, when I started this channel, that was the car that I started it with. And I bought it when I was 18 and I had just graduated high school, and I bought it with money I had made from working at Potbelly sandwich shops and doing acrobatic birthday parties. And I'm just gonna put this out there, but if I had the minimum wage that kids have now in my area, I would have had 90 of those fuckers. But the reason I sold it was because it had become something, I just didn't drive it anymore. Like, I gotta be 100% honest, I just didn't drive the car. It makes me sad to say it because that was always a car that I thought I would keep forever, and I had bought back from selling it one time before that I had regretted. But this time getting rid of it, I didn't. And it's just, I guess I outgrew it, you know? Just didn't care about it the same way. And the other thing about it, I had tried over the years so many different things with the car. You know, I'd say, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do this. And all the ideas I had for the car over the years, for one reason or another, the plans would fall through. You know, whether it was a problem with the guy working on it, or somebody said they could do something that they couldn't, or something was taking too long, or, you know, you get so tired of dealing with just delays and headaches that a car incurs, to the point where, like, that's all you think about when you think about the car. And then you get it in once and you drive it and you go, oh yeah, like, it reminds you of like that time that you really loved it so much, and like you want to love it the way you used to. But every time I got in that car, even when it was like perfectly fine, like the last thing I talked about doing with the car had fallen through because just the shop wasn't capable. And in all honesty, like, it hurts to say it because like I feel like I've let myself down, or let you guys down, anybody who wanted to see me build that C4. But it's just, you get to a point where you just, like, you are so tired of headaches. And at one point, that car, it became just a headache. That's it. Yeah, I was done with it. So I figured might as well just let it move on. So finally, might as well touch on, like, will you ever see another supercar on this channel? And I'll also just quickly touch on, like, will you see builds on this channel of any sort? I wouldn't really call, like, wrapping a car and putting neon on it and an exhaust like a build, but you know what I mean, like any kind of series with like a car on the channel. And the answer is yeah, I'd like to get something else on this channel. I've had the privilege to experience a lot of cars over the last few years, and I gotta be honest with you, my heart still lands with you know, Murcielago. So at some point I'm gonna buy another one of those cars. Be honest with you, I kind of would like the market to soften up a little bit on them. However, I do have a feeling that that's probably not gonna happen just because cars are not going backwards. You know, we're now moving towards electric everything. So I want to put together a little bit larger of a down payment before I go after something like that. But in terms of like near term, like what you would see like series or project wise on this channel, my S600 is the main thing you're going to see videos on in terms of projects, because that I will die before that car doesn't sound like an F1 car going 40 miles an hour. I have spent way too much money and time trying to make that car sound like that. So let's just say I've got some things brewing in the background to make that happen, and as they happen, you'll see videos here. It's not gonna be as quick or consistent as some other YouTube vloggers. I'm still gonna be producing other types of content on this channel. I've really enjoyed going down rabbit holes of looking at other content creators, what makes them successful, and I also wanna make some content dissecting other things as well, not just content creators. But that's something I really enjoy, kind of doing like documentary-esque pieces on things, as opposed to saying like, here's what's going on with my day. There's enough people doing that. They're doing a great job. They're doing great. They can keep doing their thing. But yeah, I mean, you'll still see things that are like vlogs for me here and there. Basically what I'm saying here is when I have some good content to post, I'll post it. I've also got some stuff I'm working on that is behind the scenes for now, but eventually I'll show you guys. I know lots of YouTubers say that stupid shit. It's like everybody's working on stuff for everyone behind the scenes. But like it'll be very cool when I show it to you guys. And for those who are still watching right now, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Like the video, comment what you'd like to see, but I appreciate your time. I appreciate you watching. And with all of that, take care and I'll see you next time. This is your daily cat appearance. Just wanted to show her because people seem to like her in the last couple of videos. So this is Casey, everyone. Casey, how old are you? Do you know? You're like 5. You know that? Yeah, there's a heater below me. She wants to go by the heater. So, anyway. Go ahead. Good girl. She was just getting down, like just getting ready to like lay in front of it and, you know, groom herself and then take a nap. So she was a little annoyed when I picked her up. But that's Casey, everyone.